The Africa CEO Forum in Abidjan has come to a close, and our Rice business correspondent Rotus Udiri spent the final day talking to CEOs across the spectrum of business, from agriculture with the country head of Nigeria at Olam Agri to renewable energy with the IFC regional director for Central and Anglophone Africa, the CEO of the Lagos Free Zone, and the CEO of fintech company Sparkle. Here are some experts from those conversations, and you can catch the full interviews on the Global Business Report at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. later today.
So look at the mechanization part. So mechanization also ties up into that, technology ties up into this, your climate ties up into all this. So if you walk around the paddy production zones, for example, right, you see a lot of yield while the crop is growing at a maturity stage. You see a lot of good crop. And knowing if you're a farmer or even whatever, you see, oh, this is a 5-ton crop, right? Because lush, the panicles are there, the number of grain, and you see the grain filling is quite good. But when that farmer harvests that, he's not able to appropriate that 5 tons. What he gets is probably 2 tons, 1.5 tons, or probably 3 tons, right? 2.5 tons, whatever, because of lack of mechanization. Like in the entire Africa and Nigeria, same, the mechanization rate is 0.01 HP per hectare, horsepower per hectare. World average is 0.67, right? So we need more mechanization. And that does not mean that we just buy tractors and give it, right? So tractors need to be given. But when you give tractors, you also need to understand that somebody needs to run them.
Yeah.
And then somebody has to be at the backup support for maintaining those tractors. Because if you buy tractors and give it, like we hear that somebody has given 200 tractors to someone or 300 tractors to someone, it'll work for 3 months probably or 2 months. After that, what? So how do you maintain them? How do you run them? And it can become an industry in itself, right? It can have a major impact to the economy. You are giving employment, you are giving technical training, imparting, the technicians. So that technical training you're imparting, and probably you can have a trainer programs coming up. The tractor manufacturers are willing to do that, right? So how do we build that ecosystem?
So we are very much looking, of course, through our M300 program, which you may have heard of in which we, as a World Bank group, are committed to connecting at least 300 million households to electricity. And we're doing this in cooperation with the African Development Bank. And we're really looking at ways that we can ignite sources of energy, particularly renewable sources of energy. Just yesterday, actually today, we signed one step in that direction for Nigeria in particular. Happy to tell you about it.
Please, tell us.
So we signed today a transaction which will fund a company called Husk, which is one of the first companies that we're funding to generate solar energy in rural areas. So that really connecting people across Nigeria to electricity in rural areas. We have a number of companies that we're looking to work with over the next year or two. That will generate up to 49, maybe even more connect 49 million Nigerians to electricity. There's not enough public money to go around, and perhaps there's not enough private money that is able to be channeled in the right directions. So we are working collectively to put in place from the government side, that's what we're here actually for the CEO Forum. That was one of the themes, is how can we start generating a different kind of conversation between government and private sector, whereby government creates the enabling environment, puts in place the reforms, and Nigeria has been doing amazing reforms over the past year and a half or so, since the government's come into power. We've seen amazing reforms which are putting in place the ingredients to unleash market capacities. So government, creating the right environment, and then private sector, seeing that the opportunities are there, begin to mobilize. And we have to make sure that we all pull together. So public efforts, public money even, and private mobilization, both domestic private capital mobilization, international private capital mobilization. Nigeria, diaspora is all over the world. That money needs to come to build Nigeria. And we're hoping that this is the kind of energy that we can build. So another kind of energy, right? The energy of believing that there is opportunities in the economy here in Nigeria that need to be funded.
Yes, this is my first time of attending the African CEO Forum. And honestly, it's been worth the hype. And yes, it's something that showcases what can happen when private and public collaborate together. This is something that is not strange to us as Lagos Free Zone Teleram, because what we do in the 50 years that we've been in Nigeria is partner with government. And one of the more tangible ways in which we have done that is the development of the Lekki Deep Sea Port, which is integrated in the Lagos Free Zone. It's a public-private partnership with Lagos State and the federal government through the Nigerian Ports Authority being shareholders of the entity with the port was promoted by Teleram, and we also have China Harbour as one of the major shareholder. Now, this is important to point out, which is something that's important to point out, is the fact that when government and private sector collaborate, then you have the best of both worlds. You are able to bring a project to life in the shortest possible time, taking care of all the parameters, not just the profit element, but also the social element, because government will ensure that job creation is put at the fore, environmental concerns are addressed, while private sector will bring in the capital, which is so important, and then the whole project management to make sure that you follow the timelines and the project becomes operational as planned. So essentially, if you are going to be in the infrastructure space, you have to realize that it's long-term. So whatever capital that you're looking out for cannot be short-term. Otherwise, it will be an impossible situation. So at Lagos Free Zone, what we've done is equity. We've done some debt. We've done some bonds and things like that. We've also gone after DFI funding. And our efforts have been successful with the significant inflow of $50 million by International Finance Corporation. I mean, I don't need to explain to you how huge this is and what a validation it is for us that our methods and our progress and everything that we've done to ensure that the zone is world-class is being recognized with this significant investment.
You've mentioned AI. I am obsessed with ChatGPT. I mean, actually, it is...
I mean, I think if I don't use ChatGPT 5 times, more than less than 5 times a day, I haven't done any work today from everything, like from even having a discussion with you.
Oh my God, yes. It's incredible.
I mean, forget public schools. Private schools are even being left behind. Yeah. I mean, like we're not using AI the way we should. You know, so my philosophy is that, you know, a few years ago it was the buzz was mobile first philosophy. Right. Yeah. Today is not to forget mobile. Mobile is a prerequisite. It is AI first philosophy. If your system or your tool is not AI driven, then you're set up to fail. And so when you look at it from even private schools, how are they using data? Because data is the fuel for AI. So like, and I don't even think that we have even started looking at how you can make. I mean, like, when you use ChatGPT, and like, what does it need? You ask it a question, you feed it some information, and it takes your information, takes the public information, and comes up with an answer for you in a way. I mean, it does that research for you. How is it being used in private schools? How is it and to do that, you must have at Sparkle, for example, the most important department is the data department. But that is the engine of everything that we're going to do from a mobile, from a data perspective. Now, when you go to public schools, the problem that you have is that if you're not, and my definition of digital, by the way, is cashless, paperless, and contactless. So if you go to public schools, how much paper is being used? If there's paper, you're lost. Yeah. In fact, you're not even ready for even mobile, not even talk about data. So when you go to private schools, you have to ask, how digital ready are you?
Lotus Udiri there in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, at the Africa CEO Forum.